Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, social media platforms like Facebook should be subject to compulsory new regulations to stop the spread of disinformation. That's according to a Commons committee which has spent a year and a half investigating fake news. In a damning report, they accuse social media firms of behaving like digital gangsters. And they say Facebook boss Mark Zuckerberg showed contempt towards Parliament by failing to appear before MPs. They're warning that if urgent action isn't taken, British democracy itself will be at risk. Simeon Brown reports.
As Parliament is locked into a stalemate over Brexit, these are the messages flooding our Facebook feeds. Many of the claims we see online are misleading or simply untrue. In other words, they are fake news. Today, a sweeping report from the Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee said fake news is a threat to our democracy, and the social media platforms allowing it to live are behaving like digital gangsters. The report calls for a compulsory code of ethics to be overseen by an independent regulator, given powers to launch legal action against companies that breach the rules. It also says that the government must reform current electoral communications laws on overseas involvement in UK elections, and that social media companies should be forced to remove known sources of harmful content and proven sources of disinformation.
We've seen that it's being targeted at people relentlessly by outside agencies, some of those based in countries like Russia. There are some distributors of political messaging and news where we don't even know who's doing it. We can just see what they're doing. And this should be a concern, because I think in society citizens should be informed, but part of being informed is knowing where information is coming from.
That's been the concern for the messaging being pumped through Facebook. The report criticised the tech giant for being unable or unwilling to prevent malicious forces using dark adverts to disseminate hate and propaganda. Last year, Channel 4 News revealed how the company Cambridge Analytica used the access to our Facebook data to influence elections for the highest bidder.
If you're collecting data on people and you're profiling them, that gives you more insight that you can use to know how to segment the population, to give them messaging about issues that they care about and language and imagery that they're likely to engage with. And we use that in America and we use that in Africa. That's what we do as a company.
Millions across the world have now watched this footage that shows the disgraced company boasting about how they manipulate our choices.
We just put information into the bloodstream, to the internet, and then watch it grow.
The company built a powerful software using the access to the data of 50 million Facebook users that was harvested illegally. Last year, Facebook apologized for the breach of trust, and in response to today's report, gave this statement.
While we still have more to do, we are not the same company we were a year ago. We have tripled the size of the team working to detect and protect users from bad content to 30,000 people, and invested heavily in machine learning, artificial intelligence and computer vision technology to help prevent this type of abuse.
The Information Commissioner's Office says some progress has been made.
It's about that deeper engagement, about them really thinking about the future, and for them to put the user and the protection of their personal data at the heart of the business model. That's what we want to see from them, that they're really deeply committed from that, and how they take that forward and how they do it in practice. So it's not just about saying it, it's about what we see over the next few years as we handle complaints, as we continue to audit and look at what Facebook do. Do we see that demonstrated in practice?
Yet today's report is damning. The report says Facebook intentionally and knowingly violated both data privacy and anti-competition laws, and had been unwilling to be accountable to regulators. Mark Zuckerberg turned down repeated requests to appear before the Select Committee during the investigation, and now internet activists have even sent out a search party, following a petition delivered to Facebook asking the billionaire to appear before Parliament.
So I think right now we're at 180,000 people that signed the petition. Facebook is a platform that we are all using, and it is in a way a democratic platform, and it has been just outrageous to see how it has used our data without really telling us.
The election law was also found to be unfit for purpose in the digital age. The government is now expected to introduce a white paper and is travelling to the US to meet the internet tech giants, including Facebook. The question: will they ever manage to hold them to account?
In any democracy worthy of the name, voters have to be able to trust the information upon which they make their decisions. Today, a committee of MPs sounded alarm bells about how those who use Facebook are targeted by what we've come to know as fake news. The MPs say that when lies are spread, Facebook and other tech companies should be made to stop them. They described current election laws as out of date.
Fake news like this increasingly threatens to shape how we think, but MPs are warning it's time to control this dangerous misinformation that creeps onto our news feeds. Tech companies like Facebook have been ordered again and again to clean up their act. Now they're being told the time has run out.
And are the tech companies, and in particular Facebook, in your view, in the last chance saloon here?
Well, I think we've left the last chance saloon. We've called them digital gangsters in the report, and we've done that because we believe they understand what the rules are and they knowingly cross the line, be it on data privacy, failing to take down harmful content, exploiting their powerful market position to drive smaller competitors out of business. They know they are doing this and they do it because they can, and it's time for us to say stop.
Despite one apology from Facebook's founder Mark Zuckerberg to the US Senate,
and it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
He comes under severe attack from MPs here today for failing to show leadership or personal responsibility. But it isn't just Facebook's inability to police fake news that's under fire. It's their method of doing business. 98% of Facebook's revenue comes from advertising. It gets this by harvesting the data of its more than 2.3 billion users, storing things like locations, personal data, and all messages. It then shares a lot of this information with third parties, raising big questions over users' privacy.
From now on, Facebook will do more to keep you safe and protect your privacy.
Facebook has already employed independent fact-checkers who today joined the call for more legal scrutiny.
It's really important that these companies are accountable by law. You know, I am subject to UK law, you are subject to UK law, even MPs are subject to UK law. Internet companies need to be too.
Facebook today restated how much it has done to improve and said it was now open to meaningful regulation. This is expected to follow later in the year with a government white paper in the spring. Penny Marshall, News at 10.